Let's say the motion was, this House opposes affirmative action for university admissions, where this refers to the favorable treatment of applicants regarded as disadvantaged in the application process, e.g., quotas or greater weightage for demographics that are subject to discrimination for universities and colleges. For this motion, this is how I would begin to think. I want to show that brainstorming shouldn't be a random process. It should instead be deliberate and with purpose. First, as the info slide makes clear, I would identify that opposition will intuitively make an argument that states that affirmative action is necessary to address these disadvantages in the application process. Concretely, I know that for them to maximize their chances with this argument, they would have to explain that affirmative action, which leads to more minorities entering into these universities, actually increases their chances of success in university, and that this is an overall good that we should celebrate. They can even push this argument further to say that they simply get more minorities to apply to these universities in the first place, which uplifts these communities as well. Right now, I'm thinking, okay, then what do I think of my options from government side? Well, I don't think it's strategic for me to contest the fact that disadvantages exist in the application system. I also don't think I should say that college is bad for minorities either. Of course, I agree that minorities having more hope to go to college is also a very good thing. So what's left for me to specifically contest is the process in which affirmative action is implemented in universities. And now the direction becomes a little bit clearer. I want to demonstrate that affirmative action is unfair and that the specific policy design doesn't lead to the goals that it claims for. My argument then will be centered on why affirmative action policies are deeply inequitable and cause a lot of unintended harm. There are even a couple of ways that I can segment this argument. Affirmative action pits minority groups against other minorities, as in the case of the recent Supreme Court case in the US. Affirmative action involves a race to the bottom through trauma dumping and overemphasizing incredibly subjective metrics related to minority status. And affirmative action also potentially privileges relatively privileged minorities against relatively underprivileged individuals from majority groups, so it exacerbates elitism as a consequence. Let's pause again here. What do we still need to add to this argument to respond to the stuff that we just anticipated a while ago? Well, we could and we should add a portion for weighing. This argument preempts any argument on addressing discrimination in the application process, because the affirmative action policy itself skews those applications by undermining more objective and fair metrics for the sake of meeting a quota that incidentally privileges some over others in an unfair way. So this also is the way in which you're delivering your comparative. And of course, we can even push the impacting of this argument further, specifically the minority on minority infighting, by saying that affirmative action policies themselves discourage future applications because of deep-seated beliefs that certain minority groups are just going to get accepted more than others, and that the system is perceived to be rigged against them. And all of this brainstorming was just for one huge multi-layered argument. We haven't even talked about whether it's legitimate to kick out one student to bring in another, nor have we even talked about whether minority students will or will not be successful in college. That's because our utmost priority was to be purposeful with building our argument. And as you can see, we've identified that the most important argument to preempt is addressing the application process unfairness. And so we ought to strategize in this particular way too. So again, argument construction is not random. We begin from a certain place and we build the direction from there. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you everyone and have a wonderful day.